We are seeing extraordinary scenes come out of Iran, and there's actually reports now that there's a heavy US military airlift into the Middle East currently taking place. Something, of course, which we saw as the 12-day war came to play last year, about 6 months ago, when Iran's nuclear program was massively scaled back. Are the American military about to get involved in helping to topple the Iranian regime? We shall see. It's being reported that as the protests are getting more and more intense, protesters are told that they could face a death penalty as the regime crackdown intensifies. And I've been seeing reports that police have been told they've been basically arrested if they refuse to shoot at protesters. And now police will be scared not to shoot at them. They are clearly getting very, very desperate. The regime warning that anyone taking part in the protests are considered an enemy of God, a charge that automatically invokes the death penalty. But of course, this means that they are getting extremely desperate. As I say, there's being these reports of American military airlift underway to the Middle East. It is just remarkable. I want to show you a bit more of the protest footage that we're seeing, as well as some of Trump's remarks, as well as Pahlavi, the former Shah of Iran's son. So this are Iranian protesters in Tehran setting fire to Al Rasul Mosque. So you can see here they're all cheering, and the mosque is basically ablaze. And this is just like, historical, unprecedented footage that you just cannot imagine seeing this happening in the heart of the Islamic regime's capital. There's here footage of an Iranian woman lighting a cigarette with a burning photo of the Ayatollah. This is serious bravery to be doing this. Wow. Now have a listen to President Trump when being asked about this and America's potential involvement.
How long do you think the Ayatollah will be in power after what we've seen play out on the ground there? When is the U.S. going to get involved now that reports of protesters being killed on the ground?
So Iran's in big trouble. It looks to me that the people are taking over certain cities that nobody thought were really possible just a few weeks ago. We're watching the situation very carefully. I've made the statement very strongly that if they start killing people like they have in the past, we will get involved. We'll be hitting them very hard where it hurts. And that doesn't mean boots on the ground, but it means hitting them very, very hard where it hurts. So we don't want that to happen. There have been cases like this where President Obama totally backed down. But this is something pretty incredible that's happening in Iran. It's an amazing thing to watch. They've done a bad job. They've treated their people very badly, and now they're being paid back. So let's see what happens. We're watching it. We're watching it very closely.
Wow, wow, wow. And now have a listen to Pahlavi, as I say, the former Shah of Iran's son, living in America, sending a message to Khamenei.
این آخرین فرصته. میتونی پاشی بری بغل دست بشار تو مسکو بشینی، ول کنی مملکت رو، بذار مردم ایران به حکومت خودشون برگردن، دست از سر این مردم بردارید. چقدر میخواین قتل بکنید؟ چقدر میخواین مملکت ما رو بچاپین؟ بس دیگه. مردم کلافه هستن و به همین دلیل تو خیابان‌ها میان. به همین دلیله که انتظار دارن از نیروهایی که نظام میخواد به عنوان سرکوب استفاده کنه. یادشون نره اینا برادران و خواهران خودشونن تو خیابون. به خاطر چی؟ به خاطر یه کیسه برنج و روغن میخواین بدنام بشید، در مقابل تاریخ پاسخگو نباشید. این الان فرصتی است که به مردم بپیوندید و این پیام رو فکر کنم کاملا رژیم فهمیده. باز میگم تمام این عکس‌العمل نظام از روی ترسه، نه برنامه‌ای دارن نه استراتژی دارن، شدیداً دچار التهاب شدن و این نشون دهنده قدرت مردم هست. هیچ چیزی جلودار از قدرت هیچ ملتی در تاریخ ثابت شده نیست و امروز مردم ایران دارن حماسه آفرینی میکنن.
Extraordinary stuff. Now have a look at this. This is footage of a protester climbing onto the Iranian embassy in London, replacing the Islamic Republic's flag with the pre-revolution Lion and Sun flag. Wow. Look at that. Bravery, clearly very contagious indeed. I don't know if you've heard me mention this before, by the way, but I find it incredibly poignant, timely, and chilling, actually, that we're seeing this potential toppling of the Iranian regime happening as we're about to approach the Jewish festival of Purim, which is about the time when 2,000 years ago there was a Persian, the Persian Empire, and a Persian tyrant that rose to power called Haman. He wanted to genocide the Jews. He was also, clearly an evil man. And the story of Purim is how his leadership and rule was toppled, and he faced his demise, and the Jews and all allies of the Jews were vindicated and saved in the end. Gosh, imagine if this happens at the same time as Purim. That would just be cosmic, wouldn't it? Anyway, have a watch of what's happening also in the UK, because this is home territory for me. I wanted to show you a clip of Nigel Farage, many think poised to potentially be in the offing as the next Prime Minister of the UK. Here's what he had to say.
But what is going on right now in Iran is something that should give us great thought. Back in 2015, President Obama, the European Union, the British Foreign Office, and then later on Boris Johnson and all the rest did a deal with this appalling, evil regime that has been there for 50 years, that has continued their theocratic, appalling, barbarous rule. And I want to say this to those brave men and women out there on the streets of Tehran and elsewhere now, fighting to get back their freedoms, their liberties. As far as I'm concerned right now, long live the revolution. I pray for the Persian people.
Amazing. And by the way, I don't know if you're familiar with Jeremy Corbyn, former leader of the Labour Party and infamous anti-Semite, deeply anti-Semitic, by the way. Jeremy Corbyn has not posted once about the uprising in Iran. This is a man who has worked for Iranian state TV. Also, only silence from Zach Palancy, leader of the Green Party, Zara Sultana, another leftist leader, and the rest of the craven virtue signalers. Their shame could not be clearer. Free Iran. That's what's remarkable. We're seeing the same thing with, free Maduro. Both the woke left and the woke right, showing their moral bankruptcy. Their broken moral compass has been clear for all those to see it. And what's also remarkable, which shows you how potentially historic this moment now is, even the BBC, who were ignoring it for a while, they can't help but feel they need to cover what's happening as front page headline story. There wasn't even time for CPR. Iran medics describe hospitals overwhelmed with dead and injured protests. Gosh, pray for the protesters and for all those who seek a better future for Iran and for the world. This is historic stuff that we're seeing. And let's see how this unfolds. Let's pray and do everything that we can to make sure that this ends the way that we all want it to, with an Iran that restores its place in the world as a force for good, which I'm sure so many Iranians want for the world. Just hang on for a moment. After covering Israel for years, I've realised that most of the lies boil down to one simple tactic used by Israel's enemies from the very start: the deliberate reversal of cause and effect. And our new documentary exposes exactly how this works. Have a watch of our trailer for our new film called The Great Reversal, and you can watch it in full right now by clicking the link below in the video description. For decades, one idea has shaped how much of the world understands the Israel-Palestine conflict. Israel did something wrong, and the Palestinians simply resisted. Whether it's 1948 or the recent war in Gaza, the story is the same every time. Israel provokes, Palestinians resist. Israel oppresses, Palestinians fight back. This narrative dominates campuses, the media, and much of global politics. It feels familiar, it feels intuitive, and for many people, it feels true. But what if the sequence is backwards? What if the origin point and every major chapter that followed has been told in reverse? in the wars of 1948 and 67, in the collapse of Oslo, in the suicide bombings of the Intifada, in the rockets after Israel withdrew from Gaza, in the massacre of October 7th, and the global narrative that followed. In this JTV Plus documentary, we're going to expose the great lie that has reversed cause and effect, a narrative engineered to help the real aggressors erode Israel's legitimacy. We'll trace the conflict from its origins to the present day, revealing how at every stage the true sequence of events was inverted, how aggression was reframed as resistance, how defense was recast as provocation, and how a conflict rooted in hatred of Jews was deliberately twisted into a story that blames the Jews. Join us as we restore the story to the order in which it actually happened and uncover the truth hidden beneath a century of lies. To watch this JTV Plus documentary and access much more premium content, click on the link in the video description.